Ohayo gozaimasu! Whether you are curious about how I made my conscious sabbatical possible, or you've read the title of this video, today we are chatting all things about my experience at EF Tokyo. In this video, we will talk about how I came to choose this school, my unfiltered experience with the accommodation, curriculum, and activities, the true cost of everything, and of course, answering some questions from my community over on Instagram. So for those of you who are new around here, my name is Juanita, aka the Caramel Yogi. And for those of you who are not new around here, welcome back. I'm so happy to get back into our regular Worth It format, but don't worry, there'll still be some OG vlog goodness coming back. One, I have my notes to keep us on track. And let's go ahead and get into it and start with my motivation. So starting with the biggest piece is why I chose EF. If you have a little bit more questions about my conscious sabbatical, there's a whole playlist for you to get to the nitty gritty about that. But in terms of just about the school, long story short, I wanted an immersion school that covered a lot of bases. So not only the curriculum, but offering me help with my accommodation and overall experiences. So either having excursions or some kind of guidance help to help me like navigate a new country. Even though I have been there before, it wasn't a vacation capacity. So all the help was wanted and achieved. Why I chose Japan for 3 months specifically. I originally wanted 6 months. We'll get into that. But I've always been a lover of Japanese culture. I grew up with anime and manga and love the food, love the music. So I knew I wanted to come back and just experience this in a more, I guess, non-touristy capacity. You always kind of be a tourist, but non-touristy capacity. And I did consider fully moving to Japan once I quit my corporate job. And this was like a good way to kind of trial run if I wouldn't like the experience there, like not just being there for 2 weeks, but a full semester. So it did change things for me. And also, why did I choose the general coursework? So there are 3 levels of study, I believe. There's basic, general, and intensive. I went with the general plan, which is kind of like the middle of the road. That structure for me offered an experience that, of course, had the curriculum will help me learn Japanese, but also give me decent time outside of class. And we'll touch on that more shortly. So let's get into the homestay. So you don't have to choose the homestay. I think it's already included in your package, but you can go to say the residence and things, but I'm personally going to talk about the homestay. I hit the jackpot with my homestay. So I found out information about my family a week before I was supposed to arrive. That was making me a bit nervous, but when I saw the information about my family, I was thrilled. I really, really wanted to be in a family with kids, and she had 2 kids. And I saw that they were like a very active family, and they liked it to go out and ride bikes. And I think her children also wanted to learn English, or she wanted them to learn English. So it was like a nice cultural exchange there. And we did everything together. If you also watch the vlogs, we rode bikes, we went out to eat together. We even went to a cheer competition for the daughter, and I like so many fond memories. It was such an incredible experience. I still talk to them today. And her parents, so my grandparents there, had their own like meat business, like a butcher. We had the best food ever. The food at my homestay, incredible. I can't say that for everyone else's homestay, because I've heard people were like, they just dropped off 7-Eleven food or just frozen food. My host mom made me breakfast every single day. She cooked amazing meals every single night. Like, and then if we went out to eat together, the food was fantastic. I think I had like a Wagyu my first night with the grandparents, and had puffer fish. Like, I was like, as a foodie, incredible. So I love being with them. And I'm just so incredibly thankful for my family there. I can't wait to see them again, and hopefully very soon, because that's my family for real. And the way I was crying when I had to leave was like bonkers. I didn't expect to cry that hard, but like really truly made an impact on me. I really felt like I was one of the family, and they taught me so much about the culture and holidays and visiting like my host kids' schools. Like, I wouldn't trade this experience for the world. Like, just already with the homestay, like life-changing. So let's start talking about the school itself. So one, the location, top tier. So you're right in the heart of Shibuya. You can see the crossing from the school, and you're right on top of the train station, Shibuya train station. So you do have a decent commute there. As far as I remember, I think every person in the host family had like a 70-minute commute. I think that's what they like. Mine was about 1 hour and 10. Yeah, so 70-minute commute. I had to take a bus and then a train. So of course you're like, oh, that commute's a little rough, especially back and forth 5 days a week. But I felt like it was worth it. I wasn't doing anything else. I work remotely. And once you were actually in the city, there was so much to do, so many foods to eat and events, experiences, pop-ups, like everything was happening in that center. So it was like really exhilarating all the time. And the school has a gorgeous view of the crossing. We were on a very high floor and you have such a beautiful view. The classroom sizes are also really nice in the school. I think at max we had like 12 to 15 people, which was like perfect for me to like study. And again, so many incredible food activity options. Like if I got out at school at 1 p.m., I was able to like take the train, go to another city, or go here, go there, or eat, sushi in between and get back in time for class. So the location was fantastic. I wrote so many notes on the curriculum, so just bear with me. So you take a language test when you first get there. I think you also take one on the app as well. There is an app, and you are sorted into a class. So basically you take a test on the app, then you take a test in person just to kind of like verify. I guess I kind of like fill in between things. And I came in personally only knowing hiragana, katakana, and some kanji. When I say some, like baby, like I knew what Shibuya Station looked like in kanji. I knew like the days of the week, but nothing else. You also have an optional virtual class on Saturday. I went to it a few times. It's usually like cultural. So maybe they have a whole class on a certain holiday or holidays in Japan, or dress codes, fashion in Japan. I like them. They're also like during a weird time. I went to it. Basically, if you go, it helps your attendance. If you don't go, it's not a big deal. So take that as you will. I think they're worth going to, but not anything to like change your whole Saturday over. I personally did a general course, as I said earlier. So that is about 26 lessons a week. They're all about 40 minutes each, and they followed a W structure. So say Monday I had morning classes, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. The hardest part of that was if I had a Tuesday night and I left the school at 8 p.m., which means I didn't get home till 9 p.m., and then I had class at 8 a.m. the next morning, a little rough. Again, I wasn't doing anything hardcore personally. If I had to work in that morning, that got a little tricky, but just be prepared for that kind of schedule. My teacher ran a really tight ship, which I'm so appreciative of. Like, don't even try to be late. If you're past that late time, they will not let you in. So you have to wait until the next class or just go ahead and go home. It's a serious program, which again, I appreciate. We got through so much content. We had homework, we had quizzes, tests, presentations, and it was honestly such an empowering experience because the class was so efficient. Like, I'm going to keep referring everyone back to my vlogs because during that time, you can hear how my Japanese is improving. And I spoke Japanese here in Spain the other day. I'm in my Spanish host family, which that video will be coming out soon. If you have questions, put them in the comments below. In terms of your books, I came in at the level of A1. So that's like the lowest you can possibly be. I mean, I had the foundations, but still A1. You get a vocabulary book in A1, which is very helpful. I think I did recycle it like to someone because I was like, I know all these words now. You get a grammar book and then you get a main textbook. You have to bring it to school every day. So I personally wore a backpack. Some people had little totes and stuff. So be prepared to wear a backpack every day. And if you want to go out after school, you have your backpack. So make use of the coin lockers. Like, it's kind of like that. I always had like pens and stuff. So I had a real backpack. You go through about a chapter a week and then you do a presentation on Friday. I was not a fan of the presentations at first, not because I'm not comfortable speaking in public, but it just like asked a lot of me, and that's school. And like, I'm so appreciative of that now and appreciative during the time. But they were, aside from like the first class, there was an expectation to ditch your notes. So that's how you really tested your grasp on the language. It's not from a memorization standpoint, but truly a conceptual understanding, which is why I credit my language learning with Japanese to be like superior than say my experience here in Spain, because they were like, you can't memorize it. Like, focus, learn, try things out. Like, really, really appreciate that. And in terms of classroom management, I have no notes. I think all of my teachers did an incredible job, but also my peers were just as serious as I was. No one was just like outright annoying or like disruptive. Like, everyone was like, we're here to learn. You would learn fully. Like, everyone would be like participating and you can go out and have fun. But I'm glad in the classroom, everyone took it like seriously. Now let's talk activities and excursions. I'm going to preface this and say that during my time, the whole activities thing was ran by a team of one. Let's start there. I think the activities are great for meeting other people. And if you're not super comfortable doing things on your own, like I've already solo traveled in the past. So sometimes I would just let the activities list inspire what I did. Like, oh, they're going to that temple. It's free. You can go with the school, or I can just go ahead and do that on my own. Like, especially during like my own time, what worked best for my schedule. Because you will have some activities that will be kind of planned during, say, your personal class time, because they're kind of all over the place. But I will give credit that, say, they went to a certain temple on Monday and you're like, I can't make it, I have class. They will offer that same exact temple experience another day that's at a different time that should reflect the opposite schedule. So appreciating that. That being said, I do think the activities are priced fairly or they're even free. I opted for certain things like a welcome dinner, Tokyo Disney. Like you can book that on your own, but the prices were basically the same. So just for ease and like someone else getting my ticket together, that was lovely. And I spent most of my time doing my own experiences. So when we get to the cost later, I am factoring a lot of that stuff out because you don't have to pay for all the stuff I paid for, but we'll get on that later. I think this is honestly like people's favorite part of the video because this is where you guys skip to all the time. Cost and additional expenses. So we're gonna share how much I paid for the course. Overall, like this is the bill I got from EF themselves. So we'll talk about my other activities. I can remember them, but I literally have my bill here. So from the dates of me getting there January 5th and leaving on the 28th of March in the year of 2026, I paid for the general course, which was $8,560.80. I opted to have a single room. It says host family single. I learned that to be single room, so nobody else would be in my room. It doesn't necessarily no one will be in your house, but personally, nobody else was in my house. It was just me and the host family. Perfect. Love that. I paid $660 for that upgrade. I have an ambassador program on there. I think personally, that's BS. I don't know how they help anyone. I've seen people like, I got a shirt from them. I got a backpack. I don't know. I guess that's cool. I don't see any benefit from it. I also paid for my return transfer. So when I came, a car came to pick me up, bring me to my host family, as well as pick me up from my host family and bring me back to the airport at the end of my trip. That was $200. So think about it, like 100 there, 100 back. Do think it's a bit expensive, but because I was like coming there for the first time, didn't know where my host family was, and the train would have been a little difficult to maneuver for my personal host family, I'm glad I did this. Our course literature was $255. Again, this is still an intensive program, so everything will be in non-English, which is Japanese in this case. I love that because I wasn't able to learn any language with the American school system, which is everything teaching the language in English. So I really, really appreciated this. And don't worry, the school will help you. It's not as bad as you think. Also, another thing, the people on YouTube complaining like, oh, but the books aren't in English. Nothing's in English. The street signs aren't in English. You're like, how am I supposed to learn a language if I don't know the language? That's how you literally learn the language you're speaking now. It's from hearing it. It's from being around it. It's from taking your time. It's from studying. You're going to learn Japanese much faster with a Japanese book than a book that's in English or Spanish. Like, trust me, it gives you all the information you need. It's not that hard. I got a discount for booking during a certain time, blah, 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 blah. So that took off $1,284. There's an enrollment fee of $295. I got cancellation protection for $195. And then we get into different activity vouchers, discounts. I'm gonna include the activities actually. So there's like an activity voucher. I'm gonna go ahead and throw all these in. That's like dinner, Disney, ski trip, blah, blah. That's all right here. How much I paid in terms of my bill from EF was $9,236.26. If I did no activities, no transfer, no single room, that pops on down to $8,021.80. Take this as you will. If you feel like, oh, that's really expensive. For me, the fact that this is my curriculum that I go to 5 days a week, my full accommodation covered by myself and the family, even like my lunch, like not even my lunch, but my breakfast and dinner. So lunch was on my own. I thought that was a steal, but also, again, I am an older student, so I was paying for my own apartment and car insurance and things like that. This was much better. This is actually much less for 3 months than I was paying in 3 months. So especially for the experience I had, I think the cost is worth it, but I totally understand if you're like, oh, that's a little steep for Japan, I could do that by myself. Oh yeah, if you like rent something and then get like a more local teacher, sure. But I was going for that full throttle experience, as I was mentioning my motivations of activities and things to do and cool curriculum, meeting friends. Like this was, for me, cost-wise, perfect. I'm excluding things about splurges. Like I bought these like really cute Adidas sneakers. I made my own jeans. I went to Osaka to meet some friends, amusement parks. But again, I don't want to factor that into the cost because those are like my own choice, but I have some spending money. Cost, I didn't anticipate. The bus train commute to school. Again, I felt like it was affordable, especially as someone who's like owned a car. But everyone's gonna live, I think during orientation, they said everyone lives about 70 minutes away, unless you plan to buy a bike or something, you were gonna take some kind of transportation. They do have like a student discount card for, I think, both the bus and the train. I didn't opt for that, I don't know. I was just coasting. I didn't feel that much of a difference for my personal train route. And I did ride my bike a lot of places, not to school, because it was like a 3-hour bike ride away. Keep that in mind. That was honestly the only cost I didn't anticipate. I knew I had to get lunches on my own, but with the relationship between the US dollar and yen, I didn't find that to be too bad to do on my own. And the key here for you and or your parents, with your curriculum and your accommodations covered, factor in your commute money, your lunch during the weekdays, and then of course, general spending money. This is like a subsection. So hot takes and big things I want to discuss. So in line with that activities portion, we had this thing, the ski trip. If you've already watched my vlog, you know what happened. This was such like a disaster of an experience. And again, talked about this in my vlog, but long story short, the behavior of some of the students there was just so inappropriate. We're in a different culture, so some people are just kind of like brute forcing their way through this culture, like being very loud in the onsen, which is really traditionally silent. So kind of dealing with that and being associated with them also worsened my experience. There was no guidance on navigating the ski resort. I think, did we get a map? No, I got the map myself, just kidding. There was no guidance. And it put a lot of students in a dangerous situation, including myself. We weren't even given helmets during this thing. I think our activities guy bought the helmets, but then she didn't buy enough and the ski resort didn't offer enough. It's a mess. Complaining about this to both the activities person and the principal of the school was an entire ordeal. Very frustrating. Wasn't happy with how it was solved. It resulted in a free dinner for me and a friend. Again, I had a blast that night, but I'm always gonna have a good time, but I wouldn't recommend anyone to do the ski trip. I said that when I got off the ski trip and they offered another one for another group of students, I told them everything to avoid, everything to do, blah, blah, blah. They came back to me, they're like, thank God you said something because we would have never known. They even changed the hotel. I also complained about the hotel. There wasn't like this nice heat seal. It was a mess. The whole thing was a mess. Don't recommend. It's also a very expensive trip. If you're already like a skier, snowboarder, I think you'll have a blast, but you already kind of have to know your way. This isn't a good thing for people who like never skied, never snowboard, never kind of navigated an experience like this. This is for people who like do it and don't need any instruction, just to let you know. Another thing, this is like my biggest thing. Before the trip, I had to confront the school on their educational visa issue. So let's go ahead and start sprinkling allegedlys in here. So the thing about the visa thing, so I wanted to do 6 months, but then I would need a visa, a student visa, which I didn't mind applying for. Could not apply for the student visa because the school does not, allegedly, the school does not count as a real school. They're missing something in their paperwork or something in their location, something in not owning the building is preventing them from you being able to get like a real student visa. And I'm talking more from the American standpoint, you can't do it. So to bypass this, allegedly, they offer you a free trip to Korea because when you jump to Korea, you leave Japan and you can come back and it restarts your tourist visa as it would have you legality wise. Allegedly, you can't do that. You can, but you're kind of up to your trip is in the hands of the immigration officer. So I personally know a few people, as well as talked to other people who knew people who were not allowed back into Japan, who were with the school, who were told, oh no, go to Korea, come back, allegedly. And then also when I confronted my personal but the person who was helping me book the trip, and I was like, hey, how many children, how many children, because there's children here, how many people are not able to get back to Japan when they do the Korea trip? And they were like, not that many. Wrong answer. Wrong answer, especially like for me coming from America and like anything can just switch and turn in the global sphere. The last thing I want to do is like leave a trip that I want to be at for 6 months And then when I tried to re-enter the country, they're like, no, something's changed, or I'm being real strict to the book today and I have to go back home. So take that as you will. I thought that sucked. And to have met someone, I had met someone on the ski trip who wasn't allowed to come back after going to Korea. Sick and twisted. Allegedly. But keep that in mind. I personally did the 3 months. I just fall right under that 90-day visa again for Americans. If you're under, I think, the holiday visa or digital nomad, I think you won't have a problem. But like, I would not do anything more than that with this school because people are not able to come back. Putting that out there, allegedly. Also, this is like a personal problem I had with EF. They took $3,000 out of my account. Like nothing. I saw like they added, not even added, it was just saying something on my app, like $3,000 extra than what I paid. And I went to my connect or, my liaison, and I was like, hey, like, I see this issue. Like, please do not take $3,000 out of my account unprompted when I've already fully paid. I was fully paid for. And like, no, it's like, that will not happen. Don't worry. Like, don't worry. Texted her again, like, please make sure I'm still there. Like, I still see the issues. Like, no, don't worry. Whole $3,000 taken out of my account instantly. Immediately message her back. Like, I told you this would happen. You guys didn't do anything. Now I'm out $3,000. Whatever happened, sick. That is very, very unacceptable. And I believe, I can double check, I believe they gave me credits for like activities as like an apology. I think it was like to the tune of $300, which covered the ski trip, which was trash. So like the fix was met with an issue again that was led to dinner for free. Again, it was a really fun night. It's Japan and I have a good time. But ooh, that was like rough. I mean, my main thing here, which I'll say in the takeaways, is really keep a detailed paper trail with things. Because if I didn't have all the screenshots and stuff that I had, I don't think they would have given me the money back. The money did return to my account, by the way, but they wouldn't have given me like retribution of the other things without the proof. Even with the ski trip, I had proof. Be mindful of that. And honestly, that seems like all I have to say for my main points that I wanted to share. So let's go over to my community over on Instagram and answer some of their questions. So first thing I got, was it worth upgrading to the single room? Absolutely. And not because I'm just like antisocial in that way, but I had basically the undivided attention of my family. Like, when I came home, it was only me. We didn't have to kind of work around another personality or even someone from like a different skill level with Japanese. So it was like really, really dope. I just felt like I was like a brother or sister coming in. How did I feel about community classes? I personally didn't have a problem with it. At first I was like, ooh, an hour. Like that's a little brutal, especially at night if you feel a little tired, like, oh, I gotta go all the way home. But like, it wasn't bad. I honestly didn't have a problem. It's very clean. I personally felt very, very safe. Again, that's coming from my bias of being in America and living in like the New York area. I didn't feel bad about anything. I haven't had any issues at all. The only thing about it, because I'm a little bit older, of course, I want to do some more like nighttime experiences. Like there's a big club culture in Japan, or getting dinner with your friends at night. I had a last train and I had a last bus. So even if the train was running at 1 a.m., my bus stopped running at 10. If I didn't get my bus home, I had to walk an hour back to my host family. So I was just very mindful of that. If I was much closer, I think I would have been out more. Not in like drinking, partying every night, but just like not having the stress of trying to catch that last train. I think I missed my bus 3 times. So 3 walks, or I think 2 walks and an Uber. I'm working around my roommates. Any rules from my host family? So no, I just took it upon myself to just be a very good student. So she has kids. So I didn't want to be coming home at night at 3 a.m. and messing up their schedule or their sleep. I didn't want to like run up any bills going crazy or ask too much of my family, which I think I'll kind of speak more about in my Spanish school experience of how that changed a little bit. No, there was no rules. I think my host mom was very like accommodating and understanding, but I also didn't like push on anything hard. We had family dinners together, we went out together. So I personally felt, I don't know, I didn't feel like constricted by rules in any sense, but I can understand if somebody else was like, oh, like you have like a curfew. No, kind of self-imposed curfew. I didn't want to miss my bus. I wanted to be home at a certain time. And then our last question is, how did this trip compare with my last trip with EF? So just to let you guys know, this branch of EF, the actual like educational school of it, is a different component from EF Ultimate Break. I think EF Ultimate Break is only for people in the States, but correct me if I'm wrong. With Ultimate Break, I was on a multi-city tour in hotels with excursions for 2 weeks, and I think that ran about $6,500 at that time, especially recording that video if you want to go see that here. If you want nothing to do with the school and learning the language, that's like a really great option. It's much more fun. You're going to clubs and doing all the fun things and running around. Like that's like it's a real active, it's ultimate. It's a real active experience, which I love. And I still have friends to this day from that experience. So love that. It's hard to compare the two because you're getting like vastly different experiences. Like this one was very much like a cultural immersion. I'm learning the language. I'm with the family. There's nothing beating this. And if you want to go from like band for band, price for price, I would do this again before I do the EF Ultimate Break one, because you do have your own kind of like movement. Like with EF Ultimate Break, you're on a schedule. The next day you're somewhere else, next city, next city, next city. This one I could like, I live there. So I'm like, you know what? I think I want to go to Osaka this weekend. Jump on a bullet train and enjoy all of that at your own pace. But again, everyone travels differently. If you want more of that like fun, party, jump to the next place and not having any kind of responsibility, do EF Ultimate Break. Totally think it's worth it. Definitely watch the video I suggested if you want to get a breakdown of all the excursions and things I do and everything that's included in that price, because everything is included besides lunch, I think. I even have my flights with that, so like shout out. But this one is an entirely different experience. I loved my experience here. So we can go ahead and jump into, is EF Tokyo worth it? And it is absolutely. Like while I went there for more like fun reasons, like I didn't have to learn Japanese for a job or anything, I truly felt like I surpassed my language learning goals, and I just didn't expect to learn it as well as I did. So that was just really, really cool. All while I had a lot of free time to explore and meet friends and just basically explore the country on my own and with all the new people I was meeting, like from my classes or from social media. Like it's really nice. If you're someone who's looking to pass the JLPT, I also know a few people who passed the test with this experience, I think for N5. I have no interest in taking that test right now, but for those of you who are like, I need a job or I want a certain visa, I think you do need that, what's it called, the document. You get like a card. I think the school will absolutely help. If you want a more intense school, like I think this one had a little bit more of like fun, play. There are some other school options that I looked into that will get you there faster, like to fluency faster at that N3 up level. So definitely check that out. I don't know if they still have the homestays and things, but there's even websites that find homestays. I think even my host mom is able to do homestays outside of EF. I'm not sure. If I had her, I would check out another school. Like she really just, the reason the experience was so amazing was because of my host mom. So shout out to her. And overall, for the cost, to have the experience I had, the friendships I made, the food I ate, and to have met my host family, this is definitely a school I recommend. I know it's more on the like expensive side because, you know, when I'm going around Japan and like talking to like people, locals from there, they're like, oh, you go to like the rich school. Like everyone has like a different thing. Like this school is like, these are like the serious people. They're going to be fluent in like a year. And then EF was more like fun. Didn't know that before I got there. More on the fun side. If you're looking for, if everything I talked about, you're like, no, I need something a little bit more serious, there's schools. Don't worry. I think they're probably a little bit more affordable. But I have heard from locals that EF Tokyo runs more on the high end. And let's get into the takeaways. If you can, do the homestay. I think if you're a minor, if you're under 18, you're not able to homestay. I think, because I heard of some people who did the homestay, but mostly they go to the residence. Do the homestay, your food's also included. I think it's so worth it. I have people who didn't have like the greatest experiences. I had a fantastic, amazing, magical experience. So I'm very, very biased. Activities are a great way to meet friends. Do the welcome dinner. I did the trip to Kamakura, which was lovely. And then also plan your activities outside. If you can't make a certain temple thing, that doesn't mean you can't go. I'll just go into their schedule, see what they were gonna do, and just I'll use that as my itinerary for my own plan. So do the activities. Take class seriously. Eat at the Japanese table often. You'll know what I mean when you actually get there. And it's a table you can only speak Japanese at. Do that often. I learned a lot there that I was missing in class. And speak Japanese as often as possible to your host family, to your friends, to people outside of the school. Like that's when I really feel like my language come to life. And ask questions often. I feel like that's a very like pageant answer, but ask questions in class, ask questions of EF. And again, keep that paper trail with EF directly. So if anything happens, hopefully nothing happens. I feel like everything that could possibly happen happened to me. So hopefully I took all the bad luck for you. Keep a paper trail. Know your payments, check your app, make sure everything is like to your satisfaction, because you are paying a decent amount for this experience. So don't let anything kind of fly by the wayside. I think I covered everything. Please let me know if this was able to help you in any type of way. If I missed anything or probably didn't get to your question because you don't follow me on Instagram yet. But if you have any questions, love to answer them in the comments for you around EF Tokyo, the experience, friends I've made, whatever it may be. That's all I have for today. It was nice talking to you as always, and we'll be talking about EF Malaga very, very shortly, but want to get this filmed and get you set on your way. That's all I have for now. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.